Whew, so good. Welcome, everyone. My name is Jarrett Weisselman. I'm the senior editor for BuzzFeed. And welcome to everyone joining us on the Yahoo stream for tonight's Teen Wolf PaleyFest panel. In June 2009, MTV announced it would be turning the 1985 movie Teen Wolf into a weekly series. People were rightly skeptical. I mean, it was a comedy with terrible effects about an overly hairy high schooler who plays basketball every week. But then executive producer Jeff Davis turned the concept on its head and produced an addictive show that was darker, scarier, and funnier than anything we could have expected. Over the subsequent 4 seasons, MTV's Teen Wolf has broken countless ratings records for the network and cemented itself as a downright obsession with every moment, episode, and flexed muscle, analyzed, scrutinized, and gift out for repeated enjoyment. Thank you, Tumblr. The show also embraced the LGBT community like few others. Not only is Beacon Hills a beautifully inclusive community, but the show consistently presents one of the most progressive perspectives on modern sexuality anywhere on television. And let's not forget that Teen Wolf introduced the world to Tyler Posey, Dylan O'Brien, Colton Haynes, Crystal Reed, Holland Roden, had us Googling mythology behind kitsunes and deciphering ancient languages and wondering where styles had been all of our lives. So, to reflect on the last 4 seasons and tease what season 5 has in store for us, let's welcome to the stage Holland Roden, who plays Lydia Martin. Give it up for Shelley Hennig, who plays Malia Tate. Next up, Dylan O'Brien. Keep the screaming going for Tyler Posey. Next up, we have Arden Cho, who plays Kira Yukimura. One of the newest additions to the Teen Wolf family, Dylan Sprayberry, who plays Liam Dunbar. Of course, none of us would be here tonight without this man. It's executive producer Jeff Davis. And lastly, you know her, you love her, you miss her, Crystal Reed. Guys, give it up for Teen Wolf.
Hell yeah.
Oh, whoa.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, we're mic'd.
It's happening.
Keep the swearing to a minimum.
Or don't, whatever, it's the internet, it's fine.
We can swear?
I mean, I did not say that. For the record, I did not say that, MTV, if you're listening. So before, let's take this back to the very beginning, Jeff. Like I said, I mean, in 2009, there was this idea to turn this movie from 1985 into a television show. What is it that you wanted to accomplish? Because if you look at the movie, it is nothing like this television show, aside from the title.
I wanted to rip off the Lost Boys. So,
Cool.
well, actually, to be more specific, I wanted to create something that had a sense of humor. A lot of teen shows are kind of melodramatic. It's a little too much soap opera for me. And I told MTV a long time ago, I'm not sure I can do soap opera, but I can do romance, and I can do horror and comedy and thriller. And it was a way to do a fun suspense show. And it was also a way to get a show made at a time where making shows was very difficult.
Yeah.
It's a different landscape now. So it's actually nice it's sort of incredible to see that this show has gone 60-something episodes. We're going to reach episode 80 with this season. Crazy. And it's thanks to these people I'm sitting with.
Tyler, when you read the script for the first time, what do you remember about the pilot of Teen Wolf?
I fell in love immediately with it. One, because I was auditioning for the lead of the show. And I had never played a lead before. So I was like, hell yeah! And it was on MTV. I'm a huge MTV fan. Jackass my entire life. That was my childhood. And it just all kind of fell in line. It came in a perfect time in my life. I had been acting since I was like 6 years old, and I was always homeschooled and like always busy doing things, and I didn't have the most stereotypical child life, and like I always wanted to experience like high school and junior high as a normal kid. So like I went to high school, and I kind of lost sight of acting just a little bit, and as soon as I found my passion again, I was like, okay, high school's cool, but I gotta do something with this. You know, this is my career, my job. And as soon as I had that idea, I booked Teen Wolf like a year later, and it's everything I've ever wanted. And I read the script, and I was like, this is something I have to be a part of. And till this day, I've never been so passionate about trying to get a job. Auditioning is hard as an actor. Auditioning sucks. I hate auditioning. But I was never so passionate about... I was never so passionate about wanting to get a role than this, and it's everything I've always wanted. So thank you, Jeff.
Oh. Well, now you have 2 jobs.
Crystal, from the very beginning, Allison was not your typical female character on a show that would be on MTV. You'd think she was just there to service a love story, and that was never really the function she served. How important was that to you and to Jeff, I think, in the early days of building this character, of her being so much more than a quote-unquote love interest?
I think the reason why I loved Allison is because she's grounded in such a realism. And at the time that I read the pilot, there wasn't much out there for young females that felt like they were empowered, and that's why I loved it. Because in the pilot, she seems to the naked eye slightly weak, but that's not at all what she is, and she finds that through season 1, 2, and 3, and I think that's why I loved her so much, because there's so much more than meets the eye with her.
Yeah, absolutely. Jeff, what do you remember about the 4 auditions with, you know, the people who've been on the show since day 1? Were they all sort of people that from the very beginning you were like, oh, good, we can stop looking, we're all set now?
Well, Crystal is a great story because Crystal's the first one who came in to audition for the role of Allison. And I love telling the stories because every other girl who came in, I would say the same thing. Turn to Russell Mulcahy, the director and now executive producer on the show. Not as good as Crystal. Not as good as Crystal. Not as good as Crystal. Every single time. And I knew it was her from the beginning. And when they did the scene together, when we did our first chemistry read, it was sort of extraordinary to see them do it. And we still do chemistry reads. You try to pair people up and see if they'll have chemistry. And we use that scene, the animal clinic scene, where she brings the dog in, and no one's ever done it as good as them on screen.
Thank you. I'm on a leash. Because I'm a dog.
So it's amazing to see. I remember, one of my most vivid memories of shooting that pilot was seeing them do that scene together and looking in the monitor and looking up at Tyler, and I said, this is good. We might have something here. This could actually go a season.
It was a difficult scene.
Yeah.
It was freezing. Mm-hmm. And the raindrops, there was a rain machine, and the raindrops, for some reason, they put them at a very large, it was like hail.
Just can't see it
there's a scene when she's outside, and she's shaking as she's saying, definitely yes. And I said to our camera people, I said, can you turn the rain down? She's dying out there, or turn the wind down. They're like, you can't see the rain if it's not pouring.
Mm-hmm. The magic of Hollywood, it's so glamorous. I'm curious, though, when you write characters, I think you have a vision of them, but then when you have the actors come in, that vision can often change. I'm thinking maybe with Styles and with Lydia specifically, those probably were characters that may have had different arcs prior to the casting of these 2 actors. I'm curious how much they changed from your original idea of them when these 2 came on.
Well, that very much goes to the idea of an actor creating the character. You write the lines and you create the situations, but that's the actor's job to bring it to life, and they bring so much of themselves. And I think all of these actors on this stage have created their characters. We can give them witty lines and moments, but the real feeling that's communicated on screen, that comes from them. Yeah. And it's why they're sought after and why they keep being stolen away from me by movies and other TV shows.
It's very true.
Yeah. CW.
Oh my God.
I don't know what you're referring to. Dylan, I think we've seen throughout the last 4 seasons your gift for physical comedy is kind of unrivaled on television right now. And I'm curious, it's a fact. Just accept it. But I'm curious, how you originally view Styles when you guys were making that pilot and how you feel like that's changed over the last 4 years.
I remember when I read the pilot, I was reading it for Scott, because that was what my audition was for. But this guy kept cracking me up, named Styles. And I was just like, who's this dude? Is he like older or something, or younger? Like, I didn't understand why I didn't have an option, for both of them. And so I called my manager, and I said I loved it. I was really into the pilot, and I thought it was really well written, and a great script, and a great arc, that first episode, But I was like, can I go in for Styles? I just think I'd be a lot better at that. I love him, So that's how that started, and I don't know, the way I see him is just so boundless and so he doesn't care what a single person thinks, and he doesn't filter through anything, and that's actually like really the one thing, because I feel like I share a lot with Styles, but I feel like that's one thing that I don't have, I feel like I am a lot more pleasing to people, and and I love that he just doesn't care, man. He's just gonna tell you exactly what he thinks. He's gonna call you an idiot, But at the same time, he's very protective and loyal to his friends. And I guess, I don't know. I think he's one who always needs to remain consistent as far as his essentials go as a character. I feel like he's the glue. I like to look at him as the glue. that holds the show together is what I was heard. Or everyone in the show. He wants, even now in season 5 that we're starting, he wants everyone to stay together. Yeah. And so he's experienced a lot over the years, and he's gone through some crazy stuff. But I feel like to his core, he'll always be the same.
Yeah, for sure. Holland, when we were talking about characters evolving, I don't know if there's a character on the show who is more different now than they were in the pilot than maybe Lydia. I mean, it's almost as if we've gone on such a more significant journey than just a couple of years with her. You often liken it to the hatch on Lost. I would love if you could discuss the lost hatch theory when it comes to Lydia.
This was so many years ago. We discussed this. Well, first off, I actually did have an option. My agent called me and said, well, it's so weird hearing your voice echoed. I'm thinking about the case over there with Patrick Harris and the magic trick he did at the Oscars. That's what I keep thinking on the stage. Remember this case with all this?
I know.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
And I chose the wrong character because he was, my agent, I remember it was pouring down rain, I was driving, and he said, you can play this, I think it was off the runways of Milan, Milan runways, i.e. a model, and then there was Allison, this mystery new girl in town. I was like, obviously Allison. I mean, why would you ever send me in for Lydia? And then a month and a half later, I was in for Lydia, and after I went in for Allison and didn't get a call back, and we like you, but no. And I was sitting in a waiting room with a bunch of essentially models, and I was like, this isn't a joke. And then I booked it, and yeah, so I think from the very moment it evolved, from this little piece of rubble with numbers on it. And yeah, I was really happy to get the role because I was employed, and at that point, and from there it's just snowballed, and I love that as Lydia's walls have essentially come down and become more familiar with all the rest of the characters in the cast. She's able to relax, and it's not so pushed and so pronounced and overact almost, where she's constantly having something on, like a Tracy Flick-esque comparison. But as far as the hatch, it's because it's layers. You keep unlayering her. You know what I mean, metaphorically?
Well, you had known for a long time where her sort of eventual place she was going would be, the banshee of it all.
No, I didn't know. I had no idea.
So when did you find out the word banshee?
I don't think Jeff knew for a while. Yeah, no, you can't even.
I knew, I think as I was screaming, I'm like, why am I screaming? Okay, I'm a banshee. Is it basically what happened, essentially? I mean, I remember Jeff had approached me and said, how strong are your vocal cords or something like that. And I was like, why? He's like, because you won't have them at the end of the show. So yeah, that's, I mean, it was.
We warned you.
You what?
We warned you.
Yeah. I mean, it was fairly short. It was not, we didn't have a lot of notice. I remember he approached me about it at the beginning.
Holland is a prime example of an actor who, when you first start getting the dailies back, the writers sit and watch and they say, oh, she's good. Let's write more for her. And Lydia's character is, she's become such a great character because of Holland, because she inspired the writers to want to write for her. That's great acting, I think. And I love the, it's nice when it happens. I love where her character's going. She's fun, and there's some good surprises this season, too. I'll tease that the whole the big cold opening, one of the big cold openings of the season is all about Lydia, and it's really fun.
Excellent. And how are the vocal cords doing, just for the record?
We have a bank of screams.
So you don't have, so, okay, wait, so that mean when you're doing, like, stage screaming now, or is there just pretending to scream where no sound comes out?
More stage scream-ish, and you want to like give it to the other actors on their coverage. Or,
Sure.
you'll still give something, but I think like a year and a half ago I stopped screaming, something like that.
So just, for the 12 of us in the room, what does a scream without sound look like when you actually see it?
Oh, it's funny. It's like it's like, and then I have to give something where, and then
We have werewolves that don't growl anymore, too. Hecklin would just open his
hiss,
mouth, I think. Hiss, right? The only one that still
looks
does
sick,
it is
though.
Posey.
Wait, I didn't know
Tyler,
that
you
could
still
just,
do
like,
it, right?
kind of not do it.
Shelly and I growl.
Guys, nobody told me you could just
Yeah, I don't do
face
it.
and not do the sound.
No, you gotta do the sound. I do the sound.
Okay,
You gotta
never
do the
mind.
sound.
Tyler does the sound, I do the sound.
Shelley does a great growl. You were kicking ass last night.
It is a great growl.
I mean, you kind of now have to do it, right? I feel like I don't want
No! Don't put him on the spot. Don't. You don't have to.
They're shooting tomorrow. They should save their
I don't know what
voices.
to
Need to save our voices.
Fair.
I gotta save my voice, guys.
It's okay. One of the things that I think happens when you have a show that's mystical based is death comes to town quite a bit. And I feel like as we saw in the reel and I heard the gasping in the room, I don't think any of us are really over the death of Allison Argent at this point. I mean, it's something that, Jeff, when you and I talk, you're like, I physically can't watch that scene still. Is that true?
Yeah, and they put it in all the trailers and stuff. I'm like, do we need to use it again? And I think we did an edit of this, and I think we took it out, and the network said, can you put it back in? I was like, I can't watch Allison die again. Because I miss her. We miss Crystal. But it's hard to see one of your beloved characters die on screen. At a certain point in a show, you want to do something new and different, and isn't it great to like really shake things up? But then you go and shoot it, and you say, well, that was one of my favorite characters. Was that a good idea? But I think actually...
Yeah, maybe there's zombies one
You can always
season.
bring dead people back in Beacon Hills.
But the fact is, we got great performances, and it's a great moment. Allison dying in Scott's arms is phenomenal, and Crystal, in the moment, decided, I think I should say, I love you in it. And when I looked in the dailies, I was like, that's perfect. She was absolutely right, and it was so good.
Oh, my God.
Crystal, what was it about? I mean, obviously that was a very, integral scene to the show, the world of the show, the character. I mean, what was it about that moment that made you want to include that line, and what was it like to film that?
So we had filmed all the surrounding coverage before we had actually filmed the death part, and the death part was maybe the last day of shooting.
It was early in the morning.
Yeah, and they recreated the set on stage, and it was, so none of the elements were there for me to react to, or Tyler. But somehow I just felt really connected. I don't know why I say somehow, because I'm always really connected with Tyler. But it was difficult. It was difficult because I remember thinking of the physicality of it, and I had researched how people die, which is so morbid. But I have this obsession with like honesty and truth, and I really wanted it to look honest. And it's so many physical things happen to you, and so I was in my head about that. And then at one moment I just thought, you know what, I'm just gonna do what I feel. And I love you just kept coming up for some reason, well, the obvious reason. And I kept insisting on saying it because it felt so right for me. And I said it, and that was the moment where I felt the most grief, I think, was when I said that. Because she's such an amazing character, and I felt like when she was dying, I did, and this is really, I hope this doesn't sound too cheesy, but I do feel like I sort of lost a bit of myself, you know, when a character goes, because they are a part of you. So it was sad, but I'm so happy because Tyler was there for me every second of the way, and that's all you can hope for as an actor, to have somebody be there and support you when you're in such a vulnerable moment. I don't think I ever got to say thanks, so thanks.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Posey, there are a lot of people who die on the show, some series regular, everything from a series regular to like a random shirtless person whose name we never know. I mean, is there a process to sort of saying goodbye to actors? I mean, how do you sort of, you know, bid someone adieu when you've spent so much time?
I mean, it's difficult on this set to say goodbye because you know it's never goodbye. You know, so it's never goodbye. We see the twins all the time. You know, we see each other at events, and Teen Wolf will live on forever. So even though your character dies, you will go to all these different Teen Wolf conventions and stuff, and so we always see each other, you know. So I mean, with Crystal's death, it was different because we had this connection, and it was a fun scene to do because as an actor, that kind of stuff is rewarding, you know. It feels good getting to that moment, and it was really easy with doing this scene. It felt so. I don't know. It was easy for me to get to that emotional state because it was you know, part truth, you know, and so I felt good after doing it, but not in like a happy way, but like I don't know. It was rewarding, you know. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I don't know where I'm going with this. It's sad. It's definitely sad. It's absolutely sad. You know, like Crystal said, it's you're kind of losing a part of yourself, and Allison was such a huge part of Scott, and so I still play that in Scott, where he's missing Allison, you know, and so it's definitely affected the character. It's affected me, you know. So it goes all over the board, you know. It's interesting.
Absolutely, Jeff. In this conversation about missing people, it would be remiss to point out that Tyler Hoechlin is not with us tonight. What's up with that?
Well, he was supposed to be here, actually, but I think he's in North Carolina at Wizard World. He had previous plans. But Hoechlin is, we wanted to talk about, he's no longer a series regular on the show. Yes. Hoechlin is, he came to me a little while ago and said, he told me about this experience he had shooting an independent movie, and how it had excited him and scared him, and he wanted to do other things that scared him. I said to him, are you asking me if you can move on? And he said, well, I want to try new things. And I said, all right, well, I'll talk to the network, but we're not going to give you a complete goodbye in the end of the season, because I want to see you back. I don't know. Trying to keep my hook in everyone and actually, we met just a couple of weeks ago to talk about possible storylines, and we came up with some stuff we were all really excited about. So while Tyler Hoechlin won't be a series regular anymore, you've not seen the last of Derek Hale.
Ooh. Perfect. I mean, you know, the silver lining, I think, to losing characters is bringing in new characters.
Yeah, we actually, one of the things we had talked about creatively as well was that if we were going to lose some adult characters, is it time to refocus on the teens of Teen Wolf in the beginning of season 5? And so we have an actual teen on the show.
Yeah!
Yes. Dylan, what is it like? I mean, you came in, what is it like joining this show?
Be honest.
Come on, baby.
It's great.
It's so full.
I just remember like the first day, or the chemistry reads we did with Dylan and Tyler, and it was amazing. You know, I had never met dudes that were like exactly like me. It was crazy.
We feel the same way, dude.
And I was just like, we feel the same way. No, I was so nervous at first because like I had no idea what to expect, and then I was like, my God. I like my twins. And then I knew from that point on that like going on the show and starting would be so easy and so fun because everyone's like a big family.
Absolutely. Girls, was it the same for you? I mean, coming in, it was obviously like a different storyline. You know, you weren't becoming like a little brother to Scott and Styles, but I mean, you were involved with them. What was your experience like coming on the show?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
I missed the first part. It was. Well, I can't say that I thought they were my twins, but it's very similar to Dylan's experience. I felt really welcomed. I think my first week was Crystal's last week, so I've actually not been able to get to know her very well, but I feel like I know her, and I feel like I know the cast of Teen Wolf, and I feel like I've been part of it for a while, even though I haven't. But that's a testament to how they treat me and how welcoming they've been, and I really have no complaints. It's nothing but champagne.
But if you did, this is definitely the platform for
No,
that.
this is the moment. Just give me a few seconds. I gotta come up. No, champagne problems in my life. This show has been so good to me, and I just love Malia.
Arn, what about you? I mean, Kira was a character that I came in with like a literal thunderbolt, I feel like, in a lot of ways. What do you enjoy about the role she plays in this world?
Oh, I love it. I mean, I feel like I'm growing every day, even as Kira and as myself through it, and it was so great. The cast was so supportive, like everyone said, and right from the beginning, our chemistry was fun.
Hell yeah, oh my God.
So yeah, it was fun. It was really intimidating. I think for me coming in, I was a lot more scared. Even though everybody was welcoming, it's scary to come onto a show that's so established, and there's a family, and there's like a routine and a system going, to kind of come in abruptly. You feel a little bit, you know, scared.
Yeah.
It was good. I like season 5.
I'm not the new kid anymore.
Yes, well, let's talk about season 5. I mean, Jeff, what are you comfortable saying about the next stretch of episodes that are coming for these kids?
Allison's coming back?
We've got contracts in the back. Get out the pen. I can tease that it's all about senior year, and it's about the fear of losing your friends after graduation. And it's very much a season of new mysteries. There's a lot of action, a lot of horror. We're constantly challenging ourselves. Can we do bigger and better? And I think what's nice about this season is everyone's sort of a seasoned pro now. So I sit in the writer's room, come out to set, watch the rehearsals, go back to the writer's room with the writers where we slam our heads against the wall. I wrote an email to the crew the other day actually saying it was really nice to be able to go out and see such good morale on set and see so much being done, and then have to go back to the hollow pit of despair that is the writer's room. But, no, I'm kidding.
You literally said that in the email.
I did. Yeah. It was a joke. But
I don't think everybody knew it was a joke.
No, it's great. I think what we're going to see is a lot of new stuff from Liam, from Kira, and there is a big refocus on Styles and Scott and their friendship. I've always said this, the real romance on the show is a bromance.
That's right. This is more of a personal question, but how long into season 5 do we have to wait to watch Kira dance again? Because that like underground dance rave thing is still one of my favorite things.
What about my moves?
You got good moves too.
You were too good.
But you were really good.
Really
dancer,
good.
Shelley.
Really good.
Well, Arden's really good with the sword, so you won't have to wait long for that. But we'll see.
Yeah, you kick ass with that sword. My God.
Thank you. That's so sweet.
How long
I
does
don't
it take to
understand.
get proficient with the sword?
I'm still working on it. No, I definitely, I mean, I feel like I should practice more, but I'm very thankful that everybody's so supportive, and, you know, we have a really great team and really wonderful stunt coordinators and stunt performers that just are amazing.
Absolutely. I had asked Twitter for some questions before I came here, and so a couple of them are about season 5, and at Lydia is his first, which sort of tells you where the question is kind of going.
Do you remember what it was?
And there was actually a lot of questions about this, Jeff and the two of you. What's up with the Stydia Detective Agency? Will that come back again? Will we get to see more exploits of these two sleuthing around Beacon Hills.
Sleuth?
Um,
Word?